They think power is about domination, about shouting louder or striking first. They're wrong. Power is silence. Power is control. Power is the absence of reaction when every nerve in your body screams to respond. No one can harm you if you master emotional detachment, because when you no longer need anyone, no one can use need against you. Machiavelli said it best: men are driven by fear or desire, so if you cannot kill desire, make fear your ally. A detached man becomes unpredictable, unreadable, unbreakable. Every weakness begins with an emotion: pride, jealousy, love, fear. The moment you feel too much, you hand someone the knife to cut you. But when you learn to stand still, when you can feel without showing, observe without reacting, the world starts bending around you. The emotional man chases validation. The detached man makes validation irrelevant. The first is ruled. The second rules. Remember this law: control the flame or be burned by it. The world doesn't reward kindness, it rewards control. So if you're ready to rise above manipulation, to see without being seen, then comment below: I control what controls me. That phrase is your first weapon, your initiation into psychological warfare. Number 1. The anatomy of control. Control isn't about domination over others, it's about domination over yourself. The man who can master his impulses becomes the rarest form of predator. Most people live in reaction. They're pushed, provoked, and puppeteered by emotion. Insult them, and they explode. Praise them, and they crawl for more. That's how the world owns them, through their untrained hearts. But you, if you are to ascend, must build an empire within your own mind first. Emotional detachment is a fortress. Every brick is made from discipline, every wall from perspective. It's the art of seeing everything clearly, without the fog of anger, without the poison of ego. When someone tries to trigger you, you don't respond. You record, you analyze, you remember. That's what Machiavelli taught. Never show the hand that hides the blade. Let them think you're calm because you are. Let them think you're passive because you're planning. In dark psychology, they call it affective neutrality. The ability to shut down your emotions at will, to remain analytical under emotional fire. It's not cruelty, it's precision. The detached mind operates like a strategist, not a victim. You don't chase revenge, you design it. You don't react to disrespect, you calculate its cost. The moment you stop letting emotion dictate your moves, you become untouchable, a ghost among the impulsive. And here's your reminder: control is not a moment, it's a state. You live it, breathe it, become it. Comment this to engrave it into your psyche. Calm is my weapon. Every time you say it, you reinforce the truth that control is your shield. Number 2, the silent power. True strength doesn't shout. It doesn't beg to be seen. It moves quietly, with purpose. The most powerful man in the room is rarely the loudest. He's the calm presence everyone feels, but no one can read. That is the essence of emotional detachment. Stillness that commands respect without demanding it. When you detach, you don't disconnect from life. You connect to it differently. You stop reacting and start perceiving. You no longer chase approval or validation because you understand this. Everything external is temporary. People's opinions shift like the wind. If you build your self-worth on their words, you'll crumble every time they change direction. But when your worth comes from within, from quiet mastery, you become solid, immovable. That is power. The detached mind doesn't live without emotion. It lives above emotion. It feels deeply but chooses consciously. It knows when to express, when to hold, and when to walk away. This isn't coldness. It's discipline. Because peace is not found in avoiding chaos. It's found in walking through it untouched. When storms rise, the detached man becomes the eye of the storm, still, focused, unshaken. You see, emotional detachment isn't about rejecting love or ignoring people. It's about understanding that love without boundaries becomes dependency, that kindness without control becomes weakness. It's knowing that you can care but not be consumed, You can give, but not be drained. You can face conflict, yet remain centered, always guided by logic, never enslaved by reaction. Machiavelli's wisdom wasn't about manipulation, it was about clarity. He understood human nature, that most people act from emotion, not thought. And if you can remain calm while others panic, you will always have the upper hand, not to dominate them, but to lead yourself. Power isn't taking from others, it's mastering yourself so completely that the world can't take from you. Every time you hold your composure, every time you choose silence over impulse, you grow stronger. The mind that stays calm under pressure becomes unstoppable, because calm is not weakness. Calm is certainty. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you remain in control of your inner world. And once you own that, nothing external can break you. Let them talk, let them doubt, let the noise pass through you like wind through stone. You don't need to prove your strength, your silence already does. Real power doesn't react, it simply is. So breathe, straighten your spine. Let every emotion settle like dust until all that remains is focus. The man who learns to master himself has already won. Now comment this below to anchor it into your subconscious. Stillness is my strength. Say it like a code, live it like a principle. Number 3, the law of emotional sovereignty. To master emotional detachment is to become sovereign, ruler of your own inner kingdom. It means nothing enters without your permission. No insult pierces without your consent. No praise corrupts your balance. Emotional sovereignty is the highest form of freedom a human being can achieve because it cannot be taken, only surrendered. Every great mind understood this truth. Control the self, and the world bows in subtle ways. The Stoics called it apatheia, not apathy, but mastery of emotion. Machiavelli called it prudence, the ability to think clearly when others are ruled by passion. The principle is ancient, but eternal. He who governs himself cannot be governed by chaos. Emotional sovereignty does not demand you to feel nothing. It teaches you to feel properly, to let emotion inform you, but never command you. You can feel anger without rage. You can feel love without blindness. You can feel loss without destruction. That's the difference between the weak and the wise. One drowns in emotion, the other uses it as fuel for understanding. When you begin to detach, the world starts revealing itself. You see patterns, not accidents. You recognize intentions, not coincidences. People show you who they are through their reactions. Your calm presence acts like a mirror, reflecting their true state. The more centered you become, the clearer everything around you becomes. And this clarity is not born from judgment, it's born from observation. Detachment gives you vision. It allows you to study situations without being consumed by them. You begin to notice how easily people are controlled by emotion, how pride blinds, how desire distorts, how fear manipulates. And instead of looking down on them, you simply understand, because you've been there, but now you've risen above. A detached man is not heartless, he's heart-aware. He chooses where to invest his energy. He knows that not every battle deserves his attention, and not every word deserves a response. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You conserve energy for what truly matters. You stop scattering your focus on trivial conflicts. Every ounce of your mental strength becomes a tool, not a leak. You start to realize that people who try to provoke you are seeking power they do not have. They want reaction, because reaction equals control. When you give none, they lose their leverage. You don't have to win arguments anymore. Your silence becomes the victory. The louder they get, the smaller they appear. That's the quiet dominance of emotional sovereignty. And with it comes something few ever taste: peace. Not the fragile peace of comfort, but the powerful peace of command. The kind that doesn't depend on anyone's approval. The kind that remains even when everything external shifts. Because when you stop letting emotions control you, life stops pulling you in every direction. You become deliberate, strategic, free. Machiavelli once said that a man must learn how not to be good in order to survive among those who are not good. But the deeper meaning is this: you must learn to control the parts of yourself that wish to please, to fear, to cling. You must be willing to be misunderstood in order to stay aligned. Detachment gives you that courage. The courage to stand firm when others collapse under social pressure. The courage to walk away when something no longer serves your purpose. Not out of arrogance, but clarity. It's a strange thing. Once you stop seeking validation, people start respecting you more. Once you stop chasing love, you attract more genuine connection. Once you stop reacting, you begin influencing without effort, because people feel the gravity of your composure. They sense that nothing they do can shake your inner ground, and that makes them instinctively adjust. Power, real power, is subtle. It doesn't shout, it radiates. The emotionally sovereign man doesn't compete, he outlasts. He doesn't chase, he attracts by his consistency. When chaos arises, he moves with intention. When challenges appear, he acts from logic, not panic. He understands that emotion can color perception, and so he trains to see reality in its purest form, stripped of distortion. You can reach this state too, but it takes training, it takes restraint, it takes the quiet discipline to pause before reacting, to breathe before speaking, to observe before deciding. Detachment is built one decision at a time. Every moment you refuse to be controlled by impulse, you build another layer of armor around your mind. And soon, the things that used to shake you barely move you. The storms that once terrified you become just weather. That's when you realize power was never about dominance. It was about direction. It's about steering your own mind when everyone else is tossed around by waves of emotion. The man who can hold his composure when all others lose it becomes the center of gravity wherever he stands. And yet, this doesn't make you cold. It makes you alive in a higher sense. You feel peace not because you avoid emotion, but because you finally understand it. You recognize every feeling as a signal, not a sentence. You use emotion as data, not as identity. This is what emotional sovereignty means. Your emotions serve you, you do not serve them. You experience everything, yet remain unmoved at your core. You live fully, yet rule yourself quietly. That balance, that union of awareness and control, is the mark of true power. So when life tests you, don't ask for calm. Be calm. When people misunderstand you, don't defend, understand yourself. When chaos comes, don't resist, direct it. Because the world cannot harm the one who commands his mind. Now speak your affirmation into the comments. I am sovereign over my emotions. Let it become your truth. Let it echo in your habits, your tone, your silence. And remember, detachment is not escape, it's elevation. It's seeing life from above the storm, where the air is thin, the view is clear, and your power is absolute. Number 4, the calm within conflict. Conflict is inevitable. It's the natural friction of existence, where ambition meets resistance, where belief meets challenge, where strength is tested by pressure. But here's what most never learn. It's not conflict that destroys a man, it's his reaction to it. Emotional detachment doesn't make you avoid conflict, it allows you to enter it with precision, not panic. The detached mind sees conflict not as war, but as information. Every argument, every confrontation, every disagreement is a map of human emotion, showing you where people reveal their insecurities, their pride, their weakness, and their values. While others are shouting, the detached man is studying. While others are defending, he's decoding. It's not manipulation, it's mastery. You can't influence what you don't understand, and you can't understand what you're too emotional to see clearly. That's why calmness in conflict is power. It's not passive, it's strategic. You observe before you act, and by the time you speak, every word has purpose. People feel the weight of your composure. It disarms aggression, confuses hostility, and commands quiet respect. Because calm in chaos is rare, and rarity is always valuable. Machiavelli would tell you that the ruler who loses his temper loses his people. Likewise, a man who loses his emotional control loses his authority. When you react impulsively, you give the situation your power. But when you stay grounded, you own the situation and everything in it. You're no longer a participant in chaos, you're the observer shaping it. To practice this, you must learn emotional distancing in real time. When tension rises, imagine stepping outside yourself, watching your thoughts, your heartbeat, your breathing. Detach from the emotional surge and turn it into data. What is this feeling trying to tell me? Ask yourself that, not how dare they. That single shift transforms you from reactive to responsive. Stoicism teaches this perfectly. Control what you can, accept what you can't, and remain calm in both. The detached man doesn't suppress emotion, he channels it into clarity. Anger becomes focus, fear becomes preparation, pain becomes wisdom. Every emotional storm, once processed, becomes power. Now imagine walking into any room, any argument, any negotiation, and knowing that nothing anyone says can make you lose your balance. You listen without defending, speak without pleading, decide without hesitation. That's what calm within conflict feels like. It's the psychological equivalent of standing in fire and not being burned. And people notice it, they can't explain it, but they feel it. Your presence unsettles those who rely on emotional reactions to gain control. You're unreadable and therefore unpredictable. But the secret isn't coldness, it's alignment. You know who you are, so external noise doesn't distort your center. There's a powerful discipline behind this, non-reactive observation. The next time someone tries to provoke you, don't respond immediately. Pause. Watch. Let their words echo in silence. Most people speak to test their power. Silence makes them confront their own. You'll notice how quickly energy shifts when you stop feeding it. The conflict dissolves or redefines itself around your composure. This doesn't mean you suppress what you feel. It means you express only what's effective. Emotional intelligence, at its peak, isn't about understanding feelings. It's about directing them. You learn to express emotion in ways that create movement, not destruction. Calmness is persuasion. Silence is influence. Detachment is the purest form of authority. The detached man also knows this truth. Not every conflict deserves a reaction. Some battles are meant to be observed, not fought. Some energy is meant to pass, not be absorbed. Detachment gives you the clarity to know the difference. You stop fighting for validation. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You walk away, not because you're weak, but because your peace is more valuable than their chaos. Remember this, you are not obligated to attend every conflict you're invited to. The ability to withdraw your energy is the mark of a high-value mind. When you choose where to invest attention, you choose the quality of your life. The Machiavellian mind understands balance. You don't have to dominate others to win. You just have to remain unshaken while others unravel. You don't have to silence the world. You just have to silence the part of yourself that reacts to it. Real control begins where reactivity ends. And yet detachment does not make you indifferent to humanity. It refines how you engage with it. You can still lead, love, protect, and serve, but from a place of calm power, not emotional desperation. You can disagree without hate, compete without envy, and walk away without bitterness. That's the ultimate strength, emotional maturity shaped by discipline, not resentment. In a world that glorifies reaction, restraint is rebellion. In a society addicted to outrage, calmness is supremacy. Every time you pause instead of explode, every time you breathe instead of break, you train your mind to lead under pressure. That's what kings and strategists do. They think while others feel. Now picture this, a man standing in front of chaos, insults, uncertainty, betrayal, loss, yet his eyes remain steady. His breath remains even, his expression unreadable. People think he's cold, but they're wrong. He's free, because freedom isn't the absence of struggle, it's the ability to remain unmoved in the middle of it. You can reach that state, you can be that man, but it requires mastery, not of others, but of yourself. Mastery of thought, of response, of perception. And every day you practice detachment, you carve a new level of strength into your character. Machiavelli believed a wise man learns more from his enemies than from his friends. Why? Because enemies reveal your triggers. They expose where you still react. Every emotional reaction is a teacher, showing you the next part of yourself that needs discipline. Instead of hating conflict, study it. Instead of avoiding discomfort, walk through it with awareness. The path to composure is built through confrontation, not comfort. But remember, detachment doesn't mean disconnection from empathy. You can still care, but you do so consciously. You can show compassion without sacrificing dignity. You can forgive without forgetting your lessons. The detached man isn't emotionless. He's emotionally fluent. He feels everything, but reveals nothing that weakens his balance. When you reach this level of inner stillness, people start calling you mysterious, intimidating, even different. They'll feel your energy before you speak, because what they're sensing isn't arrogance, it's presence. The kind of presence that comes from knowing that your peace isn't up for negotiation. The world will always test that peace. People will try to shake it, not out of malice, but because they can't comprehend it. But once you've tasted the calm within conflict, you'll never return to chaos. The storms may rage outside, but inside, there's only clarity. So the next time conflict finds you, remember this: your silence is not weakness. Your calm is not apathy. It's the posture of command. You don't need to overpower anyone. You just need to outlast their emotion. Because all storms pass, but the mountain remains. Be the mountain. Now anchor this truth into your mind. Comment below: I remain calm. Therefore, I remain powerful. Let it echo in your thoughts every time you face challenge. Let it shape how you walk into the world, poised, deliberate, untouchable. And if you're still here, listening, it means you're ready to step into a different level of strength. One forged in silence, tempered by patience, and crowned by clarity. This is how you become unshakable. This is how you win without fighting. Because the man who controls himself controls everything. Number 5. The power of non-attachment. Non-attachment is not detachment from life. It's detachment from outcomes. It's the quiet realization that you can give your all, but you don't need to own the result. It's walking through the world with deep intent, yet without dependency. This is where the modern man finds freedom. Not in control of everything, but in being unshaken when things don't go his way. When you release the need to control results, you free your mind to focus on what matters most: your process, your discipline, your composure. The emotionally attached man suffers twice, once when he acts, and again when the world doesn't respond the way he expected. But the man who practices non-attachment, he acts cleanly, efficiently, and lets the universe settle its own debts. He doesn't cling, he contributes, then he moves forward. Machiavelli understood that attachment blinds judgment. When a leader grows attached to people, plans, or approval, he loses objectivity. He starts seeing what he wants to see, not what's real. And once you lose clarity, your power decays. Non-attachment, then, is not emotional withdrawal. It's precision of perception. It allows you to see life as it is, not as you wish it to be. That's true strength. The Stoics lived by this same law. They called it the dichotomy of control. You have power over your actions, not their outcomes. So, focus entirely on your input, your mindset, your decisions, your energy, and release the illusion of control over everything else. The minute you stop chasing what's outside your command, peace enters your life like a disciplined soldier returning home. Non-attachment isn't lack of care, it's the highest form of care. Because it lets you engage fully, without desperation. You can love without fear of loss. You can build without fear of failure. You can give without expecting return. That's what separates the weak from the wise. The weak need reward to stay motivated. The wise draw motivation from purpose alone. Picture a man who invests deeply in his vision, but doesn't cling to its timeline. He works with quiet intensity. He plans, adjusts, adapts, but if things fall apart, he doesn't. That's non-attachment in action. It's not that he doesn't feel disappointment. It's that disappointment never controls his direction. The truth is, the world respects those who don't cling. People can sense when your energy isn't desperate, when you're not trying to force outcomes. Non-attachment is magnetic because it radiates confidence. It says, I'm here because I choose to be, not because I have to be. That kind of presence changes the atmosphere of every room you walk into. In dark psychology, they call this emotional independence, the ability to remain stable, whether validation arrives or not. You become internally referenced. Your worth is not rented from external approval. You lead yourself. You inspire others, not because you try, but because your calm becomes contagious. When you're unattached, even setbacks become tools. Every failure becomes feedback. Every rejection becomes redirection. You stop seeing losses as wounds. You start seeing them as training. Because you've detached your identity from outcomes, the world can no longer humiliate you. You simply evolve. There's a paradox here. The less you cling, the more life flows in your favor. That's because your energy becomes clean, free from desperation. You no longer chase, so opportunities begin to approach you. You no longer beg, so respect begins to grow naturally around you. The universe, or whatever you wish to call it, rewards calm consistency, not panic. A Machiavellian thinker sees this as tactical psychology. By remaining internally stable, you hold psychological dominance in every dynamic, personal or professional. People instinctively follow those who don't need to follow anyone. It's not arrogance, it's assurance, and assurance is rare. But let's be clear, non-attachment does not mean detaching from responsibility. It means engaging fully without losing identity in the engagement. You still act, love, build, and lead, but you do it with self-control. You're in the world but not owned by it. You operate like a general in a storm, reading the battlefield, adjusting tactics, but never panicking when the plan changes. Because the mission remains the same, composure. Non-attachment teaches patience. You understand that not everything unfolds on your schedule, and that's fine. You don't chase what isn't ready. You trust timing because your value doesn't depend on the clock. When others are desperate for immediate results, your calm endurance becomes your advantage. The one who can wait strategically always outlasts the one who acts emotionally. In relationships, non-attachment looks like peace. You can appreciate someone without losing yourself in them. You can walk away from toxicity without resentment. You can love someone fully, yet know that your self-respect comes first. That's not coldness, that's maturity. True love thrives on freedom, not control. And freedom requires detachment from fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of being alone. In business, non-attachment gives you clarity. You can make bold moves without the weight of anxiety. You can negotiate without emotional bias. You can take risks with logic, not desperation. The man who fears no loss is the hardest to manipulate, because he cannot be bought by flattery or broken by rejection. Even in your personal life, goals, dreams, ambitions, non-attachment turns pressure into power. You no longer see failure as personal. You just see process. You show up, give your best, and release expectation. That detachment keeps your energy pure. And ironically, it's often when you stop obsessing over results that results start multiplying. Remember this truth. Attachment drains energy. Non-attachment refines it. Every day, choose to act with purpose and let go of the rest. Focus on the craft, not the crowd. On direction, not destination. On character, not outcome. That's how mastery is built. You'll notice something subtle once you start living this way. Your anxiety fades. The mental noise quiets. You stop replaying conversations, overanalyzing outcomes, doubting your worth. Because you finally understand that peace doesn't depend on perfect conditions. It depends on perspective. This level of composure transforms your presence. You no longer chase validation through arguments or comparisons. You no longer defend your choices to people who don't understand your path. You start to radiate something rare, inner stillness. The kind of stillness that makes others feel safe, not because you're passive, but because you're consistent. Consistency, after all, is the ultimate form of confidence. Non-attachment makes you consistent because you're no longer swayed by the tides of emotion. You act because it's aligned with your principles, not because it feels good in the moment. That's integrity. That's power. Machiavelli would say, "He who builds his foundation on his own strength stands longer than the one who builds it on the favor of others." Non-attachment is that foundation. It's building your peace on bedrock instead of shifting sand. So as you move through your day, practice this mental discipline. Engage fully, release easily. Speak with intent, but don't crave response. Plan with precision, but don't cling to result. Love deeply, but never lose yourself. This is what it means to become untouchable. Not by isolation, but by internal sovereignty. You live connected to everything but controlled by nothing. You become adaptable, unbreakable, unstoppable. Now, lock this truth into your mindset by commenting below. I move with purpose, not attachment. Say it until it becomes instinct. Because when you live from that principle, you no longer fear loss. You understand it as part of growth. And when nothing can be taken from you emotionally, everything becomes an opportunity to expand your power. That's non-attachment, not detachment from life, but complete alignment with reality. It's how you walk through the world with calm authority, untouched by chaos, unbothered by outcomes, unbroken by change. Number 6, the art of psychological presence. Presence is a weapon, not the loud, boastful kind, but the kind that bends a room before you even speak. It's the invisible gravity of a man who knows himself, who no longer reacts to noise, who commands silence simply by existing within it. That's psychological presence, the apex of emotional detachment, the quiet embodiment of power. You've seen it before, the person who doesn't rush to fill silence, the one who listens longer than others can tolerate, who makes eye contact without a flicker of insecurity. That's not arrogance, it's centeredness. It's the body language of someone who has conquered the storm inside. Because presence doesn't come from confidence, it comes from calm. When you master detachment, your energy changes. You stop leaking it through anxiety, through over-explaining, through trying to impress. You become still, grounded, immovable. And the more still you become, the more others sense your control. Machiavelli would say, the appearance of composure is often more persuasive than any argument. He was right. People trust what feels stable. They respect what doesn't need their approval. Presence is built on 3 silent laws. First, control your breathing. Your breath anchors your energy. The slower you breathe, the slower the world feels. It's a physical command over the chaos of mind. Second, speak less. Every unnecessary word weakens impact. Silence, when used intentionally, has weight. It gives your words consequence. Third, feel deeply, but reveal selectively. Emotion is magnetic, but exposure is vulnerability. Reveal only what strengthens connection or purpose, nothing more. This is psychological presence, composure turned visible. You don't need to raise your voice or dominate attention. Your stillness becomes authority. Your discipline becomes influence. Imagine walking into a high-pressure situation, a negotiation, a meeting, a confrontation. Everyone's energy is frantic, reactive, loud. But you enter without rush. Your movements are measured, your eyes steady. You don't fidget, you don't fill silence. You let the space adjust to you. That's control, not of others, but of the environment through inner mastery. People respond subconsciously. They slow their speech, their tone softens, their posture shifts, because your presence sets the pace. The one who controls the pace controls perception. That's a principle of dark psychology. Not manipulation, but awareness of influence. The human nervous system sinks to dominance, and dominance is calm energy. When you are emotionally detached, your presence stops being reactive and becomes directive. You shape atmosphere. You dictate rhythm. You become the fixed point others calibrate to. That's what kings, generals, and leaders have always understood. Control begins with energy, not volume. But presence is not about performance. It's about authenticity fused with discipline. You don't pretend to be calm. You are calm. You don't fake silence. You embody it. The fake calm collapses under pressure. The real calm becomes stronger the more pressure is applied. Presence grows from solitude. Spend time alone and learn to be undisturbed by it. The man who can sit in silence without distraction becomes dangerous, because he's no longer a prisoner of noise. Solitude refines awareness. You start noticing things most overlook, the micro-expressions, the tension behind smiles, the motive beneath words. You begin to see, and once you see, you no longer need to react. You can predict, you can prepare, you can guide conversations without controlling them. This is what Machiavelli called anticipation, the art of foreseeing what others will do, simply by understanding how emotion drives them. Your presence also reveals how others see themselves. When someone stands before calm confidence, they subconsciously expose their insecurities. The insecure fidget. The dishonest avoid eye contact. The arrogant overcompensate. But the grounded, they match your stillness. Presence recognizes presence. To cultivate psychological presence, begin training your responses in real time. When someone disrespects you, don't rush to correct them. Watch them. When someone compliments you, don't rush to accept. Thank them, but don't internalize it. Both insult and praise are the same trap, attachment to perception. You remain unchanged by either. That's balance. When you walk, walk slowly. When you speak, speak intentionally. When you sit, sit with posture, spine straight, shoulders relaxed, eyes focused. These subtle signals tell your subconscious that you're in command. Your body becomes your declaration of calm authority. There's a power in stillness that words can't match. It's the unspoken statement, I am unmoved. And people sense it. They feel it in your silence, your eyes, your timing. The world rushes, you wait. The world panics, you observe. And because you are the only calm one in the storm, people begin to look to you for direction. Presence is influence without effort. You don't have to chase attention. You attract it through scarcity. You don't have to dominate. You stabilize. That's the highest form of leadership. When you detach emotionally, your reactions slow down and your awareness expands. You stop taking things personally. You stop filtering experiences through insecurity. You see the system beneath the chaos, the game behind the noise. And once you understand the game, you no longer need to play it emotionally. This doesn't make you untouchable to others. It makes you untouchable within yourself. You stop needing external reassurance because your confidence is no longer conditional. That's what gives your presence its weight. It's not built on arrogance, it's built on truth. A Machiavellian thinker understands that perception is power, but perception must be grounded in reality. The detached man doesn't fake composure. He earns it through repetition, reflection, and restraint. Every day he practices calm under minor stresses so that when true pressure comes, it's not foreign, it's familiar. You want to radiate presence? Master your micro moments. When your phone buzzes, don't rush. When someone interrupts, don't flinch. When things go wrong, don't panic. Every act of stillness builds a brick in your fortress of composure. Eventually it becomes who you are, unshaken, unhurried, unmistakable. Understand this. Presence is felt long before it's understood. People might not know why they respect you, but they do. They might not know why they trust your silence, but they feel its strength. Because calmness in a chaotic world is authority. Even your tone changes when you live detached. It becomes deeper, slower, deliberate. Your words carry weight because you're not trying to convince, you're expressing what you already know. Conviction needs no volume, truth needs no defense. Machiavelli would call this the aura of control. It's not about power over others, it's about such mastery over self that others instinctively recognize hierarchy. You don't ask for respect, your composure commands it. Presence is not built overnight, it's refined through discipline, through moments when you want to react but don't, when you want to rush but wait, when you want to prove but stay silent. Those are the unseen battles that build the aura of command. And here's the paradox. The more detached you become, the more magnetic you appear. Because detachment is freedom, and freedom is rare. People are drawn to those who cannot be controlled. They want to understand the calm they cannot break. So stand in your presence, own your silence, speak when it adds power, and stay quiet when it doesn't. Move with purpose, not with haste. You don't need to declare who you are, your energy already speaks it. That's psychological presence, the silent dominance of a mind at peace with itself. The ultimate expression of power through self-mastery. Now seal this truth within you. Comment below, my silence speaks power. Write it as a reminder. Your stillness is your strategy. Your calm is your command. Your detachment is your dominance. This is how the untouchable are made. They don't chase attention. They embody gravity. Number 7. The discipline of inner power. Power is not found in motion. It is forged in restraint. The world praises aggression, dominance, noise, but true authority lives in the shadows of discipline. The man who governs his impulses, his emotions, his words, that man holds the quietest, most enduring form of control. Inner power doesn't shout, it resonates. It's the force others feel but cannot define. Discipline is the architecture of detachment. Without it, composure collapses under temptation. Every moment you choose control over impulse, you carve strength into your mind. The Machiavellian principle is simple. Rule yourself first. Conquer your instincts before you seek to shape the world. Because the undisciplined man becomes a servant to emotion, but the disciplined one becomes its master. Power begins with consistency, not motivation. Motivation fades when comfort disappears, but discipline endures because it's built on principle, not feeling. The detached man trains himself to act independent of mood. Whether inspired or exhausted, he moves, because he knows the mind can be trained like muscle, through repetition, through structure, through silence. Machiavelli wrote, "He who controls his nature controls his fate." That's the core of cold power psychology. You can't manipulate the external world if you're manipulated by your own reactions. Discipline frees you from that slavery. It's the difference between those who drift and those who direct. Start with the basics. Control your environment before it controls you. Wake when you said you would. Work when no one watches. Stay calm when provoked. These small moments build an unshakable foundation. Discipline in the small creates dominance in the large, because the mind that obeys itself in private becomes untouchable in public. Inner power is also built through patience. The disciplined man knows timing is as important as action. He waits with purpose. He moves only when the strike will be clean. The impulsive act from emotion. The strategist acts from alignment. Patience is not passivity, it's preparation. Every great victory was once a silent observation. You can feel this energy in those who've mastered it. They walk differently, they speak less, but every word is deliberate. Their gaze doesn't wander, it calculates. That's not arrogance, that's presence forged from repetition. The disciplined man doesn't waste energy chasing validation because his worth is self-verified. Discipline is also emotional training. You must learn to sit with discomfort, to let pain sharpen you instead of define you. When you stop running from discomfort, you stop running from growth. Every challenge becomes an invitation to evolve. Every hardship becomes a forge for endurance. The detached man doesn't fear pain. He studies it, extracts wisdom from it, and uses it as leverage. Inner power grows in the moments you don't advertise, the nights you keep working when the world sleeps, the times you choose silence over reaction, the days you show up when nobody notices. These are invisible victories, but they are the currency of strength. Machiavelli understood that greatness is rarely seen in the making, it's only recognized in the result. The disciplined man also practices selective attention. He does not scatter his focus across distractions. He guards his time, his thoughts, his circle, because energy is the most valuable resource of the powerful, and attention is its gateway. Every scroll, every argument, every unnecessary conversation steals focus from mastery. Detachment demands withdrawal from the trivial. You cannot become exceptional while feeding on noise. Cold power psychology teaches that control begins in awareness. You must become the watcher of your mind. See your impulses as they rise, not to judge them, but to understand them. Discipline is the practice of awareness before action. When anger appears, observe it. When fear surfaces, breathe through it. When desire distracts, redirect it. You don't fight the wave, you ride it with composure. There's an elegance in self-control, a quiet dignity that others instinctively respect. You don't need to prove strength. It's evident in how little you need to demonstrate it. The disciplined man doesn't boast. He performs. He doesn't demand loyalty. He earns it through steadiness. He doesn't react to disrespect, because he knows every emotional response gives power away. Restraint is underrated. It's not suppression, it's direction. It's the art of using force when necessary and calm when sufficient. A sharp mind knows that too much reaction dulls precision. The more disciplined you are, the more efficient your movements become. You conserve energy, speak less, and act with clarity. To live disciplined is to live with purpose. Every decision becomes intentional. Every moment has weight. You no longer move from whim, you move from principle. That's why discipline feels powerful, because it reconnects you to choice. You're no longer a passenger of emotion, you're the driver of direction. Machiavelli often warned rulers about indulgence, not because pleasure is evil, but because dependency weakens command. The more you need, the easier you are to control. Discipline, then, is freedom disguised as limitation. It looks like restraint from the outside, but it's liberation from within. And here's the paradox. The more structure you build, the freer you become. Because when your habits are strong, decisions become effortless. When your emotions are trained, peace becomes constant. When your reactions are disciplined, confidence becomes natural. You stop chasing calm, you become it. The disciplined man doesn't talk about control, he embodies it. He's not obsessed with appearing powerful. He's too focused on being prepared. When opportunity comes, he's ready. When crisis strikes, he's composed. His mind is trained to respond, not react. That's the difference between amateurs and masters. Inner power is not mystical. It's repetition, honesty, and endurance. It's holding yourself to standards when no one's watching. It's admitting weakness without surrendering to it. It's refusing to let emotions dictate your direction. Every day you train discipline, you reinforce the fortress of detachment. But discipline isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about redefining what joy means. The undisciplined man chases pleasure and ends up owned by it. The disciplined man finds joy in control, in knowing he can choose restraint over reaction, purpose over chaos. That's not denial, that's refinement. Cold power isn't cruel, it's clear. It doesn't reject emotion, it respects it. It doesn't avoid life, it leads it. The disciplined man isn't void of feeling, he's fluent in it. He understands emotion as signal, not command. And that understanding gives him leverage in every domain: relationships, business, conflict, and self. Understand this. You are training yourself to operate from inner command. Every time you resist a distraction, you reclaim a fragment of your focus. Every time you stay calm under tension, you strengthen your influence. Every time you finish what you started, you reinforce identity. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about consistency that compounds into power. The Stoics believed that discipline is the armor of the soul. Machiavelli would agree. Without it, all wisdom decays into impulse. Discipline protects you from yourself. It keeps you aligned when life tries to pull you apart. So practice it in small ways. Wake early. Move with intention. Keep your word, especially to yourself. Endure boredom. Delay gratification. Choose clarity over comfort. Every simple act of discipline polishes the blade of your character. Soon, others will notice something they can't name. A steadiness in your presence, a confidence in your silence, a precision in your action. That's inner power. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't seek validation. It simply exists, undeniable, unmovable, unyielding. Now leave this mark within your own mind. My discipline is my freedom. Write it, speak it, live it. Because once you understand that, nothing external can shake your control. You will act with purpose, speak with conviction, and move through chaos untouched. That is the discipline of inner power. The foundation of all strength, the essence of all mastery, the soul of emotional detachment. Number 8, the unshakable mind. The unshakable mind is not born, it's forged. It's the result of countless inner battles fought in silence, of temptations resisted, of storms faced without retreat. It's the mind that bends, but never breaks. The man who possesses it becomes immune to chaos because he no longer seeks comfort in control. He finds comfort in composure. To build an unshakable mind, you must first dismantle illusion. The illusion that life must be fair. The illusion that people must understand you. The illusion that emotion equals truth. These illusions weaken the will. The Machiavellian mind sees the world not as it should be, but as it is. That realism isn't cynicism, it's preparation. You stop demanding softness from the world and instead strengthen yourself to meet its hardness. Emotional detachment is the chisel that shapes mental steel. Every moment you practice non-reaction, you reinforce the idea that your peace is your responsibility. No one can give it. No one can take it. The unshakable mind does not depend on kindness to stay kind or on stability to stay steady. Its foundation lies in self-governance. The Stoics described this as ataraxia, a state of inner tranquility unbothered by fortune or failure. Machiavelli described it through strategy, the ruler who never panics, who remains deliberate even when surrounded by uncertainty. Both teachings converge on the same truth: calm is command. When others are paralyzed by emotion, the calm mind sees options. So how do you cultivate it? You begin with acceptance. Accept that difficulty will visit. Accept that betrayal is part of growth. Accept that loss is the price of learning. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means you stop wasting energy fighting what already is. The unshakable mind converts resistance into readiness. Then comes awareness. Watch your thoughts like a strategist studying terrain. Notice how fear disguises itself as logic, how ego masks itself as confidence. Awareness separates signal from noise. Once you can see your mind, you can steer it. You're no longer the voice in your head. You're the one listening to it, choosing which commands to follow. Next, build adaptability. The unshakable mind isn't rigid, it's fluid. Rigidity snaps under pressure. Adaptability absorbs it. When plans crumble, you pivot. When people disappoint, you adjust. You're not attached to form, only to direction. Machiavelli would call this prudence, the ability to shift strategy without losing principle. And then, discipline in thought. Guard your mental diet as fiercely as a warrior guards his weapon. The mind consumes what it repeatedly hears. If you feed it outrage, it will crave conflict. Feed it calm reasoning, and it will crave clarity. You become what you repeat. The unshakable mind repeats power, silence, order, perspective. Stillness training is key. Take time each day to do nothing but breathe and observe. In stillness, the mind settles and truth surfaces. You'll realize how much noise in your head was never yours. It was planted by others, by media, by culture. Detachment filters that noise out until only your authentic voice remains. That's the voice you follow. Understand this. The unshakable mind doesn't deny emotion, it organizes it. Anger becomes direction. Fear becomes focus. Pain becomes proof of endurance. Every emotion is raw energy. The weak waste it, the wise refine it. You're an alchemist of the psyche, transforming emotion into insight. The unshakable man doesn't chase external validation because he's grounded in inner validation, the quiet satisfaction of self-command. When the crowd applauds, he nods. When it boos, he nods again. Praise and criticism carry the same weight. None. His compass points inward, not outward. Machiavelli observed that power fades when leaders seek love more than respect. The same is true within yourself. Stop seeking constant reassurance from your thoughts. Demand discipline from them instead. Respect yourself enough to direct your focus, not just drift in feeling. To remain unshaken, detach from expectations. People will act according to their nature, not your hopes. Events will unfold according to reality, not your plans. When you stop expecting the world to cater to comfort, peace becomes natural. You're prepared for everything and surprised by nothing. This mindset makes you decisive. Indecision is emotional hesitation disguised as caution. The unshakable mind doesn't freeze under pressure. It evaluates, executes, and evolves. Decision-making is power condensed. Every time you decide without fear, you reinforce identity. Control your inner dialogue. The voice in your head can be either tyrant or ally. Train it. Speak to yourself as a strategist, not a victim. Replace, "Why is this happening to me?" with, "How can this strengthen me?" That linguistic shift rewires your perception from helplessness to command. Remember, perception is the battlefield. Two men can face the same storm. One sees chaos, the other sees challenge. Same world, different mind. The unshakable one wins, not because his life is easier, but because his interpretation is stronger. A key aspect of Machiavellian thinking is emotional economy. Spend emotion only where return is meaningful. Don't waste outrage on gossip or fear on outcomes beyond reach. Emotional detachment is budgeting your energy with intelligence. Save intensity for moments that matter: your craft, your purpose, your mission. When failure strikes, and it will, the unshakable mind studies it like data. It asks, "What pattern led here? What can I refine?" There's no shame, no despair, only adjustment. Failure ceases to wound when you stop identifying with it. You are not your outcomes, you are your endurance. This mindset radiates quiet confidence. People sense it. Your reactions are measured, your speech deliberate, your emotions disciplined. They might call you stoic, distant, or intimidating, but in truth, they're witnessing stability they wish they had. Calmness unsettles the chaotic, but you need not apologize for peace. Still, balance your detachment with humanity. Power without empathy turns hollow. The unshakable mind understands others without absorbing their turbulence. You can listen to pain without drowning in it, guide others without losing your footing. Compassion, when governed by clarity, becomes strength. To maintain this state, cultivate rituals. Morning discipline anchors your focus. Physical training grounds you in the body. Reading refines intellect. Reflection renews perspective. Routine is not restriction. It's the skeleton of freedom. It keeps chaos from re-entering. And remember, solitude remains essential. You can't build mental steel surrounded by noise. Take time to reset, to observe your own evolution. Machiavelli spent years in exile, yet used solitude to sharpen strategy. You too can turn isolation into insight. The unshakable mind thrives in silence because silence is truth undistorted. There will be moments when life will test your composure. Betrayal, uncertainty, loss. Those moments are not setbacks, they are audits. They ask, have you truly learned detachment, or were you pretending? The answer isn't in words. but in how still you remain when everything shakes. If you endure those moments with grace,